このファンデ新作なんだけどウォータープルーフで汗にも
Oh, sweet. I think my mermaid girlfriend will absolutely love this. Oh, well, that's great, and, wait, you're what? This week, we opened with a little fashion show hosted by Lily, as she had Kana try on a bunch of different clothes. Sorry, bad case of the brain rot there. Though to be fair, our lead also thought all of this was a little frivolous.
おかしい私は共同業務先の手伝いに来たはずなのに
Yeah, it's certainly nothing like your previous job. As a result, Kana did end up with a ton of new clothes, most of which will probably likely collect dust in her closet because anime lead with very limited on-screen wardrobe. Still, Lily managed to get across her company's general goals and ideals.
今はもう女性の職業の一つでしょそれこそもっと昔は
Okay, there's a lot to unpack with just that statement alone, so let's just take it one step at a time. First and foremost, yay, more world building, love to see it. In this case, Myakudo, and by extension this whole arc in general, was clearly meant to be all about the importance of public relations for the magical girl occupation in this world, which according to Lily, likely did just start off as plain old fantasy and Sunday morning anime stuff before they developed the tech to make it all the more real. That said, it still carried on the common stigma of the genre that it is just children's entertainment meant for the children. And it certainly doesn't help when you age regress your adult magical girls. Y'all better not screw up Mahotsukai too. But yeah, on that note, it is easy to make comparisons with this company and Precure's Pre-Holic, especially again when two of this show's main characters were the forerunners of that makeup line. And while I personally disagree with how much they seem to over-push that stuff, especially on its target demographic, to the point that it's the actual bread maker over its toys, I also do have to acknowledge that there is a little more to it beyond just the financial gain. Again, there is just that image that this is just kid stuff, even though IRL has extended far beyond its initial target audience. Thus, for this show, using cosmetics as a part of their branding was meant to show that the occupation, and really the genre in general, can be taken seriously beyond just the Sunday morning crowd, though they do also want to remain friendly with them. Again, there's elements of the Pre-Holic that I disagree with on a personal moral level, but at the same time, it is important to acknowledge the nature of the beast, especially when he takes up this much of the room. Anyway, after a little more shopping, where I do legit suspect that they were making some Tropical Rouge references with the seashell, they decided to actually do the magical girl stuff, with a smile of course, because I guess they also wanted to collab with McDonald's, especially after Trump worked there. So with that, the two transform, with Lily's sequence in particular being really damn good. Like, I usually don't gush over magical girl transformations, even in this show where it's admitted really high quality, but damn, this was just beautiful. I'm pretty sure they were taking elements from Sailor Moon's transformation with this ribbon transition, which, yeah, I know that's probably one of the most normie things I've ever said, but it is iconic for a reason, as it does emphasize the beauty and fancifulness of this transformation, which Lily is clearly all about. That combined with a medal of Lily flowers just kind of appearing out of nowhere, and yeah, this is just pure aces that understandably left Kana in awe. Anyway, the two made their way to an upscale hotel for a routine inspection, though I think someone needed to look over this animation. Yeah, while I appreciate Lily's transformation sequence, I also kind of wish they had spent some of that budget a little more evenly across this episode, as there were some wonky sequences that's rather ironic for an episode like this that's all about image. Though to be fair, I also think Hitomi is the image of pure beauty. Like I say, I like a lady with good taste. Also, I do love the sequence of Kana imagining herself not fitting in with the upper crust, which honestly sounds perfectly fine to me. Like, really, do you want to be friends with these walking stereotypes? But yeah, all that said, while Kana was learning a lot of legit good business skills like the importance of PR and such, which was Shikimoto's intent for her, there was a flaw in Miyakoto's business model. One that the boss man himself outright stated when he said that their tech was below even their limited resources. You could actually see it in the design of their brooms, with Kana's looking like a really fancy vacuum cleaner, while Lily's looked more like a traditional magical broom right off Sleeping Beauty or something. Aesthetically, you could argue hers was a lot cuter and more fanciful, but not exactly all that practical either. Thus, when trouble started brewing, well, it was pretty obvious things were going to go south. The two encountered a Kai at a construction site where the monster looked like that one thing from Aoni.
What the hell? What the hell? Holy crap! What the hell?
And I guess it was a good thing it wasn't an enemy in that game, as this monstrosity was pretty damn strong with the ability to absorb debris from the site to gain both size and projectiles to shoot at them. Also, thankfully, the animation here did pick up a little, even though the faces still looked off. Then again, Lily didn't seem to mind, as she launched a rather clever counterattack by breaking some water pipes to dilute the debris.
大丈夫ですか？大丈夫よ。ウォータープルーフって言ったでしょ？
You say that, and yeah, it's probably still going to leave behind a nasty residue that's going to be a pain to clean off later. But yeah, I really like this scene, as even though she was going full gorilla by breaking a bunch of pipes, she still tried to maintain the majesty of the magical girl. That's both hilarious, and yet also pretty badass at the same time. It also ended up highlighting how she couldn't really use a lot of offensive magic and had to use brute force to compensate for it. In her place, she needed to rely on Kana, and actually came up with a clever plan to use their recently developed AoE magic on the pipes to make for a triangulated attack. However, before they could actually implement it... Oh, come on, don't tell me you have to hug this thing into being good too. Well, no, actually, it was the sign of something far more ominous, as it was going through a mutation where it could start to use water as a weapon, so, yeah, not good. And maybe I should have made a few more Madoka references, as the episode ended with Lily seemingly getting the mommy treatment. An after-credit scene revealed how Lily went through a similar initiation into her company like Kana, which she also didn't get at first, but eventually came to respect the message they were trying to send through their branding. Though again, I don't think those practices always work out the best for being a magical girl, just saying. This was a solid introduction to another company in the show, and more importantly, a whole lot more world building. This is all brought to the forefront, of course, thanks to the new character in Lily, who was a little more than I expected in several ways. Though I also really liked how they highlighted the pros and cons of the company she worked for, as it really just added to this fascinating world. I'll admit, going into this episode, I wasn't expecting too much from Lily, just based on the fact that her company treated the magical girl stuff as a secondary division. I mean, I wasn't expecting her to be a full-on bitch or anything, but at least a little shallow and maybe ill-prepared for the Kai stuff. And yet, I was pleasantly surprised to see that wasn't exactly the case. I mean, the ill-prepared part was still kind of true, as she couldn't handle the Kai by herself, but she was also capable of thinking on her feet, in spite of them lacking even Magilumiere's level of magic tech. All the while, she very impressively maintained the composure of an ideal magical girl, and as a result, she was far from shallow, and was actually a very dedicated worker to her profession, which was really pleasant to see. In general, she was just a great representation of Myakoto, which seems to be a bit of a halfway point between our title company and the AST. Much like the latter, they do put a lot of emphasis on their image, but like Magilumiere, they also don't have the best equipment, and actually have it even worse due to it not being a priority, and yet they do try to find creative solutions to their problems. It highlights how there is a delicate balancing act to having magical girls be a legit business venture in this world. Sure, Magilumiere has an admirable, scrappy nature to them, but that's not gonna make the numbers like their competition. All three of the companies we've seen so far have their own goals and methodologies that aren't objectively the right or wrong way of approaching the business, they're just different, which is a really interesting aspect to this show. It made Kana and Lily's interaction sweet, and yet also kind of intriguing in how they were able to get along in spite of these differences. As for how well they could get along with AST, well, based on what Lily said, they were going to get some reinforcements that we'll likely see next week. But until then though, this is overall a very good character introduction for Lily, and just more great world building. I think at the very least, Lily really doesn't need that foundation when she's already thick-skinned enough to hold that much pride towards her job. Thank you for watching, and as always, be sure to check out some of our other videos on this channel, if you so please. After a week off, we will be getting back into the Sunday morning stuff that we actually talked about in this very video, which will be fun, as I am looking forward to Gav's tasty new form that they've been teasing. Look forward to all of that. Until next time though, farewell for now my friends, and if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna see if I can't work at McDonald's for a little bit. If our next president can do it, I don't see why I can't.